Don't you just hate it when you get the wrong impression of someone else and that awkwardness after the fact? Or maybe they have the wrong impression of you and trying to work that out. Well, the reason we're talking about it today is because it could be the biggest collective influence that might be affecting the way that you feel and behave today. We need to talk about how to handle that, and we're going to do all that coming up. I'm Chris McCleary. It's July 17, 2018. I'm running the nationaldreamcenter.com and also projectcomind.com, and glad to have you with me. If you would like to know what the biggest influence is on any given day, then go to YouTube and subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get warnings of the new episodes. All right, let's get right into it. We have today some very interesting aspects and some contradictions in the astrological communities. So let's start with the moon. It's really going to be all about the moon today. So there's lots of different things happening today. Again, we're looking for the biggest collective influence, and the transit moon starting in Virgo, going into Libra later on in the day. I think it's going to be, for most of us in the United States, more in the early afternoon or middle afternoon-ish. But the moon is also opposing Neptune, so that could be important. And the moon is also squaring Sun in Cancer. Sorry I couldn't get that whole thing in the screen, but let's go over to the Dreambot. Dreambot, again, if you have questions on what these terms are, go down below and you'll see the facts associated with, or at least if you're on YouTube, you can see the facts and go click on get more information. I have a question for you. Which one is more prevalent in today's run, the red arrows or the blue arrows? It's the red arrows. Red arrows are stronger, and this is going to come to a point here. Let's look at what the red arrows are. Let's see, teaser, stories, pretend, wild, cartoon, symbolism, and doubt. Okay, what does that mean? It just means that there's misunderstandings. There's some impressions, the wrong impression, if you will. Someone's acting. Maybe they don't even know they're acting, but they're pretending. Okay, that's the red arrows, is that we may not be who we want to display to the world. Okay, and the blue arrows are where astrologers out there are wanting to display as possibly the biggest influence, is this aspect. Let me come back here. Aspect with the moon and sun squaring. Sun in Cancer, by the way. Moon in Virgo. It's a very giving, very practical way of giving yourself and working for others in a very nurturing way. And that's apparent here. You can see it in the blue arrows. Gently connection, check, try, conventional meaning practical. But again, it's not all that strong, not nearly as strong as the red. And the red is coming from this moon opposite Neptune. So that's what we're going to be going with today, is how to surf when the wrong impressions are taking place, because that, my friends, is the biggest collective influence. We're going to talk about how to deal with that next. I am too is the new model we're going to be using over time. We're not going to get too much into detail about what that is just yet and the techniques associated with it, but look down below and you can get some links to learn more about it. If you want to help out with Project Comind, you can do so for free. All you have to do is supply your dreams, and the Dreambot's going to be going to look at those, and that's what you saw in that last slide. And that can be at the National Dream Center, nationaldreamcenter.com. Go there, it's free, sign up and all that, and supply your dream. How do you know that the wrong impression has been made? It's sometimes very difficult. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're just meeting someone and you kind of get some facial expressions that kind of look confused, or maybe some eye rolls that kind of look like they don't really have a good grasp of who I am as a person. But this is, I mean, obviously much of the communication that we have is via the voice and language. So listen to those words that are being used, but most importantly, look at the body language that's being displayed. So just by not having square posture with the other person or good eye contact, that kind of indicates a little bit of mistrust. But you can look at some, confusing facial expressions or just kind of sarcastic words. But the key is today, especially today, is don't be taking these things personally. It's going to be the influence, the collective influence, to have that wrong impression today. So don't take it personally. But one technique, and this is what the other influence is so pretty cool today, but the universe gives you kind of a problem, but you will also have the antidote just around the corner. Also with the moon aspect, is that moon square sun in Cancer gives you the ability to work out very practical solutions for other people. So in this aspect in the natal charts, we can tend to be self-sacrificing and you just give constantly to other people. Well, this is the collective aspect right now. The transit aspect in astrology is giving you the ability to be more altruistic. Now, here's the problem. I'm going to show you something a little bit, the other influence that we didn't talk about today is the, whoops, well, there, too far. Yeah, still have it wrong. Here we go. Numerology. All right. Look at this. This is the day of July 17th. Let me get, yep, July 17th. And I don't want to read this whole thing, but 17 has high standards, and yet it's practical and orderly. Does that sound like what we just talked about in the moon with the aspect to the sun? But it's a bit more idealistic, and we can appear to be, where's this thing about being bossy? Okay, and it tends to get a bit bossy in the way that it wants things executed. Okay, so today the influence is to, at least from numerology, to get things done, and that in a very practical way, and that matches the aspects between the moon and the sun. But don't let the numerology take over and you start getting bossy. And the way we do this is make sure, as you're giving yourself and helping others, keep checking in with yourself to make sure that you don't have some underlying desire of gain. Okay, so in altruism, we purely don't want to have any sort of gain other than possibly, I think it's okay to have a good sensation on the inside, to feel good about yourself when you're giving yourself to other people. It feels good. It feels good to connect with others. It feels good to give to other people. But it starts to deteriorate when you start expecting other things. So if you start expecting someone to notice, or if you start to expect monetary gain in return, that's not today. Today, at least, you're going to not take bad impressions or wrong impressions personally. You're going to talk about those impressions and try to clear those up. Just ask them where they stand. And then get out of yourself, get out and do something practical for someone else without expectation of return. If you like this video, hit like, share, and subscribe. I very much appreciate it. Have a wonderful giving day.